Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first episode of TRUSTMF Cafe. My name is Nupur Mohta and I am super delighted and excited to be the host for this very first episode of TRUSTMF Cafe. This is going to be a series of fun yet insightful conversations with the leaders of the financial services industry. Today is a very special day. It's the 8th of March and I'm pretty sure everybody knows that it is the International Women's Day. Apart from being just bright and sunny outside, it is the day to celebrating women's achievements and the sacrifices that go behind them. I'd like to kickstart this episode by telling you about our very, very special guest for today. She is one of the top women leaders of the financial services industry. She's this confident, energetic soul and also a very humble person to talk to. Introducing you to Lakshmi Iyer, the CEO of Kotak Investment Advisors, and she's been associated with this group for over 20 years now. Hi Lakshmi, thank you for joining us and a very happy Women's Day to you on behalf of our viewers and the entire team at Trust Mutual Fund.
Thank you so much and wish you and the entire viewers today a very, very happy Women's Day. Well, I think Women's Day is every day, but it's okay to celebrate it that extra zing today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have with us one of your closest friends and your former colleague, Ajay Gupta, who is now the Chief Business Officer at Trust Mutual Fund. And Ajay, if you could enlighten us with a few words talking about Lakshmi and all of your experiences. I'm pretty sure you have a million stories to tell in the span of 20 years. So over to you.
Hi Lakshmi.
Hi Ajay.
Pleasure to be with you here and wishing you a very happy Women's Day.
Thank you so much.
So Lakshmi I have known from last 20 years, initially as a colleague and now more of a dear friend. So Lakshmi is all around, available both professionally and personally for any help required. We have seen Lakshmi starting her career and growing to where she is today. One unique thing which I saw in Lakshmi and which most of the industry players did not pick up was, I think so, Lakshmi apart from managing money also had the understanding of connecting to the clients, investors, corporate treasuries very early in her career. And I think so that has given that extra mile what Lakshmi is today.
Thank you so much, Ajay. I would like to begin our fireside chat with Lakshmi and Ajay. You've been in this industry for over 20 years now, and your expertise is mainly finance. You've been in this industry and it's in your blood and veins. But if Lakshmi Iyer was not a fund manager, what would she be?
I think that's very easy, because either I would be a food critic or I would be a film blogger, because apart from finance, what I really get excited about is films and food. So yeah, that's the other two part of my, I would say, right brain, which keeps me fairly active.
So I'm pretty sure getting to the top would have been difficult. So what, according to you, are the biggest challenges that you have faced as a female leader today? And if there's any stress and anxiety that comes with it, how do you maintain that work-life balance while dealing with it?
So, stress or anxiety and all of that, I think more than being gender biased are more specific to roles. And I would say in the world of financial services, it's very important to note that there is an inhibition, especially when women, want to enter into it, number one. Once they enter into it, it becomes very difficult to retain people beyond the mid-level because, there's on one side, there's a tug-of-war between your career, the other side, there's a tug-of-war between your family, and both are equally important. So I think depending on which age and stage you are in your career, in your life, and which role you perform as part of the industry or sector, I think there is stress, there's anxiety at every point in time. The only thing I tell everyone is that anytime that happens, and happen it will, keep telling yourself all is well. Very important.
That's very insightful. Ajay, you've been a veteran in the industry. You've had so many years of experience with work, and you've held many leadership roles. But what is your success mantra?
See, I started my career with Kotak, and I think so that was the success mantra because a guy working in Kotak typically behaves like an entrepreneur, and the moment you behave like an entrepreneur, I think so success will automatically follow because whatever is required to become an entrepreneur, it is not only being a salaried employee, but the moment you think to be an entrepreneur, I think so there are more things beyond just doing a job. And the moment you start thinking and doing all those things, I think so the success will come naturally to you.
Coming to my next question is that who've been your biggest supporters throughout your journey and your career?
So I think there's no denying the fact that for a woman, and I love this tweet, once which I think Mr. Anand Mahindra had put out a nice infographic which shows that, men and women start a race, and just before the woman starts a race, she has these line of things. She has a child who's crying, then she has these clothes line and, multiple things. So she has to clear every hurdle and then get to it. So I think in that ecosystem when you're starting, I think having a very strong family to back you up and say, go and do whatever you want, what it takes to make your career, we are there to back you up. I think that's extremely important. And therefore, I would say that once that is cleared, the other ecosystem just kind of comes pretty naturally. But I think it's very, very important to have a very strong family backing for you to be able to achieve the dreams that you've set out for.
Absolutely. With the multiple roles that we play, it's very important. How do you keep yourself updated on a day-to-day basis?
So I read a lot because I think reading nourishes you the way, the proteins and the vitamins actually nourishes your body. Reading is what enriches your thought process. You're updated. Yeah. I always believe that, these days with, the explosion of social media, you don't really need to wait for the print to really come. You typically tend to see things, when you are sleeping and the world is awake. So I think that's very important. And for all professionals, especially in the world of finance, my view is it's a non-negotiable.
Right. So if there's any current favorite book or your all-time favorite book, would you mind telling our viewers about that?
No, as I said, I read all genre. For example, the financial book which I really enjoy reading is, LTCM, When Genius Failed. It's a fantastic book, and all aspiring professionals in the world of finance must read that book to see how even the best of minds can fail. So very, very important, and that gives you a lot of, I would say, dry powder in terms of your thought process, etc. I read a lot of fiction also, so I don't really have any specific preferences, but I'm agnostic to the genre. I just love reading.
Okay, but also another very interesting question that I have in my mind. Lakshmi, you're the role model for a lot of women, including me, and I'm pretty sure you've had your role models inspiring you throughout your career. So who is your role model and why?
So, I try in a lot of places to emulate my mom. My mother is a homemaker, but she taught me the very basic lessons of finance, not even knowing that she taught me. Probably the only thing I taught her is don't buy physical gold, but I think most of the initial day lessons is something which she taught me. She learned to run a family even in the most adverse circumstances, and I think that's what we have to learn as money managers. How do we maximize the return for the buck given risk-adjusted returns? I think that's very, very important. And the other most important thing I learned from her was come what may, never give up. I think these are the two core values which have stuck with me. Of course, there are many other women leaders that I definitely look up to, even in the financial, so I don't have one over the other, but this lady has stood by me through my thick and thin, and of course we have our own bashing moments, but yeah, she really stands tall for me.
I'm passing on the same question to you, Ajay. If you were to have dinner with, say, 3 inspirational women in your life, who would they be and why?
So women are a very important part of everyone's life. We all know that. I completely agree with Lakshmi. I think so. It starts at home first. For me also, it is my mother to start with. But since you have asked me 3, it is my mother, Indira Gandhi, and Mother Teresa. The reason is very similar to Lakshmi. Mother, very humble. She gave me values what I am today. Indira Gandhi, we all know, was a visionary, courageous lady. First Prime Minister and the only Prime Minister India has had in terms of lady Prime Minister. Mother Teresa, I think so, very humble, again working for the poor, something to give back to the society, and that's the reason why these 3 ladies are important to me. I think so I have tried and imbibed a lot of things which they have done in my life, day-to-day life also.
Absolutely, sir. So I want to get into the part wherein we're celebrating Women's Day, and we celebrate achievements. We also celebrate the hard work and the difficulties that you face. Being a woman leader, has gender discrimination ever been a barrier in your career? And if so, how did you overcome it?
You know, I've always perceived that if you have the right substance, if you have the right content, then honestly people around you don't really care about what gender you belong to, because it is the execution, the finer details and the overall planning and the output. Of course, you know, the proof of the pudding is in eating it. So I might say I'm the best chef, but what I bake out is not to bulk of them. It can't satisfy everyone, but if it's not to bulk of the satisfaction, how good is the bake? So I think, see, there have been ups and downs, no doubt about it, but that's more related to markets, business, things not going right, the ecosystem, etc. At least by being part of the Kotak group, I never felt that, you know, this is coming to you or this is not coming to you because of a gender. So I think that's something which I would say most firms are emulating, but if they aren't, they should really look to do it that way, that roles are gender agnostic. It is about the right person at the right time at the right job.
What is that one piece of advice that you would give to, say, young women or, you know, people struggling, people facing barriers, so that, you know, it makes their hustle a little lighter?
I don't know about advice, but you know, there is this movie called Tumhari Sulu, where Vidya Balan is this female protagonist who travels all the way from Virar, and her life aspiration or career aspiration is to be a radio jockey. And every time anything is put upon her, in her typical lingo to quote her, she says, "Main kar sakti hai." So the first thing is self-belief that you can do it. So that's extremely, extremely important. So keep that in mind wherever you are, whatever you do, and it's the passion that you need to bring to it. And secondly, there is this very recent movie, of course not very recent but still relatively recent, Gunjan Saxena, the Kargil girl, where there's a dialogue which says, "जब plane को फर्क नहीं पड़ता उसे कौन उड़ा रहा है, तो तुमको क्यों फर्क पड़ता है?" So I think this resonates and has stayed with me for a very long period of time. So I think the faith of positive thinking or the power of positive thinking is something which I urge each one of you to exude, and exude it with so much of confidence that you can actually make a mark.
Thank you so much. I think the references make it so relatable, because I'm pretty sure everybody who's watched the movie, they relate to it a lot. So thank you so much for that. What is that one piece of advice that you would give to young women out there struggling, you know, making their career, handling their families? So what was that one piece of advice that you would give to them?
So I am very, very impatient. I like to want to do things as of yesterday, and this, you know, people know. I have been told, and this has been told by many people, you know, from the industry, my mentors, etc., that give people some time. It's okay that people don't match your pace. It's absolutely okay. And fortunately, I got this early on in my professional career, and truly I've tried to walk the talk.
Yeah, even I would take that advice now. Passing on the same question to you, Ajay, if you were to give one piece of advice to young women investors and young women across the world trying to enter the field of finance, what would that be?
See, finance cannot be taught actually. It has to be learned. And my advice to the young women investor is take the finance in your hand, start investing. You will learn through mistakes, take baby steps. It is not a very difficult thing, I think so. It comes with experience. And remember one thing, the compounding effect. The moment you remember that and you keep on investing small amounts over a period of time, irrespective of the markets up and down, I think so you will really not lose out. So keep that in mind. Don't get carried away with so many news because of the social media. People talk more negatives than positives. But we have been in the industry, we have seen cycles for the last 30 years. Something which has come down will typically go up. With India economy growing and so much buzz about that, I think so the future is bright.
Thank you so much, sir. So we're getting to the fun part now, and I'm ending the show with two of my most favorite questions. And Lakshmi, this one's for you. I'm pretty sure you know what is that one thing that even ChatGPT would not know about Lakshmi Iyer?
I don't know, maybe doesn't know where I eat my pani puri. He doesn't know where I love the best pav bhajis and where I enjoy my pastas. So I think these three P's are something which I really fancy a lot. So probably it might tell you the best pani puri places. It might not tell still where I love to eat them.
That's very true. And as we all know, now that we know a lot after this fireside chat, what is that one dialogue that you would leave our viewers to, take away with them, and anything that you're feeling today?
No, it's very extempore firstly, but since you asked this, there is this movie called Sui Dhaga, where Varun Dhawan, always his tagline is "Sab badhiya hai." So छज्जे से पानी टपक रहा होगा फिर भी बोलेगा सब बढ़िया है. So keep that in mind. I think that is again, ultimately all of this exudes the power of positivity, and positive thinking has its own role to play in each of your lives. So totally believe in them.
Yeah, we really require after all the pandemic and everything, we require positivity in our lives. So I think that's a great way to go. Thank you so much, Lakshmi and Ajay, for your valuable time. And I'm pretty sure everybody had a fun and insightful conversation, and you got your answers that you were so curious about. Stay tuned for more such fun and yet insightful conversations with leaders from across the financial services industry. Signing off.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.